All right. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of TransPositions Weekly. I'm Bree McCune, and this week we got some craziness going on in California. So I'm going to jump right into it with you today. All right. So, California is now the first state to ban policies requiring teachers to out trans students. And this is like a good thing, as you'll see later on in the show as we move forward. Yeah, this is a tipping point kind of piece of legislation, so we need to keep an eye on this and watch how people respond to it. It's so important because it lets us know where folks stand on trans issues. All right, let's see here. After several school districts in California enacted policies last year that required school personnel to out trans students to their parents, the state just became the first in the nation to pass a law that explicitly prohibits such policies. On Monday, Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Support Academic Future Educators for Today's Youth Act into law. In addition to banning schools from implementing forced outing policies, the legislation also states that the California Department of Education will develop resources for parents, guardians, and families of LGBTQ plus students in partnership with actual LGBTQ plus families. Additionally, school employees are explicitly protected from retaliation for providing support to LGBTQ plus students, including teachers, LGBTQ plus inclusive curricula, and supporting LGBTQ plus students' right to privacy. In a statement to the ABC News, Brandon Richards, a spokesperson for Newsom, said this law helps keep children safe while protecting the critical role of parents. It protects the child's parent relationship by preventing politicians and school staff from inappropriately intervening in family matters and attempting to control if, when, and how families have deeply personal conversations, which seems pretty respectful to me, all things considered. This is something that people should be able to talk to their family about when they're ready, and to be able to be with their friends at school and be able to be out and be themselves while they're still not able to be out at home is sometimes the only time that a queer kid will get the opportunity to be themselves throughout the day. Assembly member Chris Ward, who introduced the act, noted in a press release that politically motivated attacks on the rights, safety, and dignity of transgender, non-binary, and other LGBTQ plus youth are on the rise nationwide, including in California. While some school districts have adopted policies to forcefully out students, the Safety Act ensures that discussion about gender identity remains a private matter within the family, Ward said. As a parent, I urge all parents to talk to their children, listen to them, and love them unconditionally for who they are. Last year, at least a dozen school districts in California passed or considered policies that would have required student personnel to notify students' parents if a student requested to be referred to with a different name, pronoun, or gender than what is recorded on their birth certificate. According to a statement from Equality California, California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed a lawsuit against the Chino Valley Unified School District, which appears to be the first to pass such a policy. In August, alleging that the policy violates the state constitution and the state law that safeguards civil rights. This March, CVUSD altered the policy to remove all references to gender identification changes in a move that advocates called an attempt to find a legal loophole. LGBTQ plus civil rights organizations, Equality California, expressed gratitude to Newsom for signing the act into law. LGBTQ plus youth across California can now have these important family conversations when they are ready, and in a way that strengthens the relationship between parent and child, not as a result of extremist politicians introducing into the parent-child relationship, the group said in a statement. The Safety Act could not be more timely or necessary as LGBTQ plus students across California can breathe a sigh of relief following today's actions by the governor, the organization said. According to the legislative tracking organization, Movement Advancement Project, 8 states have passed laws that require school personnel to out trans students, and 5 additional states promote the practice but do not require it under state law. All right, so this seems pretty straightforward, right? Yeah, protecting kids from, having to be forcefully outed to their family before they're ready to talk about it. This should be for most people, that's a very deep and personal thing to have to confront and overcome. And if a kid's not talking to their family about their gender identity, there's usually something more to it than that, and that's I don't think enough people are aware of that or are thinking that through. Why aren't these kids comfortable talking to their parent or guardian about their LGBTQ identity? Food for thought. But not everybody was happy with Newsom's decision. Elon Musk says X will leave California because of the new law that protects trans kids. Yes, this guy, Mr. Tesla and SpaceX and Moneybags is literally rage quitting the state of California. He's literally pulling out his business out of the one of the greatest economies on the face of the earth because of this law. Because, well, let's find out why. Because there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of layers to this onion that is Elon Musk's hate of trans people. Billionaire Elon Musk says he will relocate the headquarters of X, formerly Twitter, and SpaceX from California to Texas, blaming a new California law that bans forcefully outing transgender students to their family. So if he moves the headquarters of Twitter to Texas, every time it snows, you're not going to have access to Twitter anymore because their power grid will go down. Yeah, let's move the headquarters of to the most unreliable place to run anything, Texas, where any weather going up or down will cause the power grid to shut off because they refuse to tap into the rest of the country. It's really weird. On Monday, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Safety Act into law, which is what we just talked about, establishing that teachers shall not be required to disclose trans students' expressed gender identity without consent. The following day, Musk wrote on X, "The law was the final straw." Instead of reading it here, let's go read it in Musk's own tweet. This is the final straw. Because of this law and the many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its headquarters to Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas. So he's moving he's picking up and moving on out because Gavin Newsom made him sad. Made him big sad. All right. What's that? Okay. In a follow-up post over the ensuing 24 hours, Musk alleged that the Safety Act constituted massive destruction of parental rights and would put children at risk for permanent damage. Musk, a notorious anti-trans propaganda enjoyer, who has said he would ban the word cisgender as a slur on X, and he did. You can't say cis on X without getting a notice on your post and nobody can respond to it or reply to it. It's really stupid. His commitment to spending $45 million per month on a new super PAC supporting former President Donald Trump, according to the Wall Street Journal. Musk has blamed his daughter's progressive school, which he accused of incubating the woke mind virus, for his estrangement with his own adult child who came out as trans and cut ties with her father last year. Who wouldn't cut ties with? He's awful. If you don't think so, look at the things he's tweeting. Look at the things he's saying. Look at what he's sharing and what he's responding to. Would you want that in a father if you were trans? Or even if you were just a normal person, would you want that as a father? Holy moly. But Musk's move away from Silicon Valley has been years in the making and may have more to do with tax and labor laws than the billionaire's personal politics. Musk himself moved in 2020 from California to Texas, where there is no individual state income tax, the Associated Press reported. In 2021, he then moved the headquarters of Tesla to Texas as well, taking advantage of the state's lax business tax laws. And Tesla has repeatedly been accused of illegally blocking unionization at its facilities, along with other labor law violations in Florida and California. As Market Watch columnist Therese Poletti wrote on Tuesday, Musk sees California as too expensive, too litigious, and too friendly to employees and their rights, making his mass relocation to Texas anything but abrupt. Yeah, but he sure gets to swing it around that way when he's got this legislation passing. It's at the right time for him to be able to, like, oh yeah, this is too much for me. I'm out for this reason, and all his fanboys and chuds are going to be super stoked about it. Newsom hit back at Musk, commenting on his own post on X Tuesday, casting the billionaire as a mere Trump crony who bent the knee to the former president. State Senator Scott Wiener, a Democrat, called Musk's announcement absolutely despicable in a statement to CBS News on Tuesday. The idea that a billionaire could come along and say, "How dare you pass civil rights laws? I'm going to move my company." That's not democracy. That's oligarchy, Wiener said. All right, and this was right up from Samantha Rydell here. And yeah, here's Newsom's response to Musk here. You bent the knee. When Donald Trump tweeted this, when Elon Musk came to the White House asking me for help on all of his many subsidized projects, whether it's electric cars that didn't drive long enough, driverless cars that crashed, or rocket ships to nowhere, without which subsidies he'd be worthless. In telling me how he was a big Trump fan and Republican, I could have said, drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it. So, yeah, just a shining beacon of reasonable and well thought out discourse. Our friend Elon Musk. Yeah, I don't know if his brain is cooked or if it's just this derangement over his daughter and over his relationship with Grimes and everything that happened there. But yeah, for whatever reason, he's just made a war on trans people, and we're not getting out of his sights. So we might as well get used to being on Twitter with targets on our back if we're going to be continuing to fight on that battleground. But yeah, that's but other than that, this is good news about Gavin Newsom's legislation that he passed, or that he signed off on. Obviously he didn't write it. There's a lot of hands that went into making this happen, but it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, rage quit California. Go ahead and just pack up and move. That's your prerogative. I'm sure they'll miss you. Anyway, From the TransPositions Weekly, I've been Bree McCune.